Hello there, me hearties. Welcome to another build and review video by yours truly. I am Trinity Heart. My husband is Dex Heart, and together we are Heart Scales, aspiring Western hognose breeders who love all animals and adore Western hognose snakes. But today we are talking about our experience with focused cubed habitats, specifically the ratio 4x2x2 ball python kit, which is where my ball python, Inara, resides now. We do run into an issue where a cord inside the enclosure actually becomes a concern, and Inara did get stuck behind it. Thankfully, with the help of my husband, we were able to quickly unstuck her and then get her checked out at our local exotic vet. She had some internal bruising that took about 2 weeks to recover from, and she's just fine now. I was very happy and impressed by Focus Cube's response and plan of action, and I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. So let's get to it. First, I have to start by saying that Focused Cube's website was really intuitive. I was specifically looking for an enclosure that would be big enough to be Inara's forever enclosure, even after she's fully grown, and I wanted to get everything I needed as far as the lighting and heating setup all in one go. They provide a description of the enclosure, what's included, and what you'll need. This kit comes with an LED light that's dimmable, a radiant heat panel, and a caged Arcadia halogen bulb. And then there are drop downs to pick your enclosure's color, which for this kit is either black or white. Obviously, as you've seen, I went with black. The color of your doorknobs, which is a neat little touch, it just makes the enclosure feel more you. I chose gold because I felt that represented Inara best. And you pick the color of their logo on the bottom of your enclosure. I went with holographic. There are other options you can include, such as choosing a deep heat projector over the halogen bulb, still the safety cage, or you can add locks for the doors or a stand, what have you. Now, I wanted to see if I could get mine custom painted with the Galaxy splatter paint that I'd seen on other enclosures on their website, as well as the name of our snake business engraved in the back. So I emailed them after I placed an order to ask if they would do that. They responded the next day and said yes, included an invoice so I could pay for the paint job and engraving, and then they got to work on making my enclosure. Like most custom enclosures, it does take time to be built and then be shipped out. I placed my order for Inara's enclosure on May 22nd, and it shipped out on July 20th. Part of the reason it takes a while is because Focus Cubed fully prints, builds, and assembles your custom enclosures from scratch once your order is placed. Then they break them down before they ship them to you. The really nice thing about having an enclosure being fully assembled as it's being built, by the way, is that instead of just manufacturing pieces to go together that then get sent to you that have never actually been tested, or those particular pieces haven't been tested rather, is that all of the pieces will fit together so perfectly. Better than any other enclosures I've built. I'm looking at you, Zen Habitats.
And we'll knock it right in.
Something else to be aware of is that they ship the enclosure and the heating and lighting kits separately. So if you get the enclosure but don't receive the kit with your bulbs and such within a couple of days, you can reach out and they'll give you a tracking number. Once we had all of our pieces, we laid everything out and started putting the closure together using the included printed instructions. The concept was pretty simple. Every piece had a big number sticker on it, and you just connected the 1 with the 1, the 2 with the 2. The hardest part was just doing all the rearranging and flipping of the enclosure while you were in the process of building it, but it was basically just a lot of flipping and drilling. We attached our bulb holder, our safety cage, made sure it all looked good. Then after we put the first 3 pieces together, we attached the top piece with the radiant heat panel and the safety cage. Then we flipped it around as instructed, making sure our cord placement was good before screwing on the back. So as you can see, lots of flipping around. They actually recommend applying the screws in an X-shaped pattern to help everything go in as evenly as possible. We realized that a little belatedly as we started screwing in the back, but we managed to make it work anyway. The next step was to flip it back over so we could put on the front of the enclosure. At this point, we were getting a pretty good idea of what the finished product would look like, and we were really excited to see it. You'll see that we had to actually open up the doors so that we could lift it up more easily. Peeling off the protective plastic was the last step before siliconing the insides, which I did do, but I didn't get any footage of. And voila! Our enclosure was built. You can see up top there we have a Herpstat 2 proportional heating thermostat to precisely control the halogen bulb and the radiant heat panel, and we have the LED light on an automated timer switch. I confirmed that the radiant heat panel and bulbs are all working and providing their correct temperatures, and then I got to decorating. I set Inara up with a mix of cocoa core and repti chips. She has 4 hides, lots of cork bark, a giant water bowl big enough for her to soak in, some rocks, twigs, and branches that I have both purchased and have found at local rivers and trails, and then sanitized the heck out of before placing them in here. And then, of course, I have my govies as well as my visual thermometer hygrometers. After everything was decorated, Inara was added to her new home. Right away, she took to exploring the enclosure and finding where all the best hiding spots were. A 4x2x2 is a great size for even an adult ball python, and she is only just over a year old. Ball pythons will check out every little nook and cranny of their enclosure when they're comfortable, and she has been doing just that. Unfortunately, this can sometimes lead to trouble. 2 important aspects to keep in mind with any enclosure are ensuring it's escape-proof and ensuring there's nothing in their enclosure that they can get stuck in or injured by. At the top of this enclosure, the cord to the radiant heat panel turned out to be something that Inara could get stuck in. I woke up one morning to find that she was hanging limply from the top of the enclosure, and I leapt over my bed, threw open the doors to see that she had wedged herself between the cord and the back wall and was unable to get out. I immediately put my hands under her to support her weight and take the pressure off of her belly, and my husband started unscrewing the back of the enclosure. Thankfully, when I siliconed the inside, I did not do the tops, only the sides and the bottom, so he was able to slip his fingers in between the back and the top after unscrewing it and provide just enough of a gap to allow me to safely wriggle her out without injuring her further. I contacted our vet, got her set up with an appointment, and we moved her back into her quarantine tub until we could find a solution that would prevent this from happening again. Once at the clinic, our vet x-rayed her and found that Inara had some internal bruising where the cord had pinched her, but nothing was broken and she would heal after a couple of weeks on her own. We were extremely relieved. They gave her a shot of anti-inflammatory medicine to help reduce the swelling and any pain or discomfort she was feeling, and I contacted Focus Cubed Habitats to let them know what had happened. Their response was swift and supportive. They provided some temporary solutions before a day later developing a prototype protector that we could cover the cord from the radiant heat panel with. When we heard back from our vet that Inara was 100% and ready to be moved back into her enclosure, we attached the protector and made sure there was no way she could finagle her way back in. That was 3 months ago, and there have been no other incidents. Her enclosure is completely safe, and our little Inara is doing fabulously. I've purchased enclosures from ZooMed, Exoterra, Zen Habitats, Dubia.com, and Focus Cubed Habitats. Originally, I had planned to buy Inara's new enclosure from Black Box Cages, but while I know they are popular in the reptile community, I didn't have the same delightful experience others have had. I decided to go with Focus Cubed because they have gorgeous enclosures, top-notch customer service, and a user-friendly website that made purchasing their kits easy. I didn't need to ask questions about how to choose what I needed. They make their enclosures to order from scratch, and they look and feel high quality. They fit together perfectly. There are so many options to make the enclosure unique. They will take into consideration other requests if you're able to pay for the additional work. My husband also ended up buying an enclosure from them for his retic, Daro, and you can even see it on their YouTube channel. This is it right here. But what was really impressive to me overall was their fast and helpful response to my email about Inara, and even building and shipping out for free something to protect her from any further harm. They put a considerable amount of thought into each of their builds, and they are constantly innovating and providing better, more unique options. So if you can shell out the bucks for one of these enclosures, I have to recommend them for their knowledge, their skill, and watching out for our babies. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found this helpful and interesting. My next video will be coming out shortly, and it's all about snake supplements. Until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and acquire snakes. Bye-bye now. Was that supposed to happen?
No.